and welcome to the show. I am Jared and Elrod, and I already said welcome to the show. Let's jump into it today.
Hey, we putting on a show, trying to catch a vibe. We do this every time, like na 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 na. Feeling like I'm on the highway, cause everything been going my way. And now they looking at me sideways. I'm like na 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 na. This is where I wanna be, na na na. Never ever gonna leave.
The ever so important water. Okay, so I have been watching. I will get to what I've been reading eventually. So I've been watching Undercover Billionaire, and this show is pretty awesome. I got turned on to it by Grant Cardone talking about it in a clubhouse, and then I saw Dan Mace do a video about Discovery Plus and some of the stuff he's working on there. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. So I went and I looked at Discovery Plus and I saw Undercover Billionaire on there. I'm like, hey, 2 things and it's like $5 a month and a 7-day free trial. Boom, sign me up. So yesterday I watched, it was Sunday, yes. It was like day of rest. And I took at its word. I watched over 3 hours of Undercover Billionaire. I binge watched the first 2 episodes of season 2. I started with season 2 because that's when Grant Cardone's in. So the first season, sorry, I've been wearing beanies for like 2 months and I'm not used to just having my hair again. So season 1 is like, whoever the guy's name is who did the show. And again, I didn't know him, so I didn't really care that much. And then I was like, oh, season 2 has Grant Cardone. What I didn't realize is it was 3 different people. There's 3 entrepreneurs, 2 girls, and then Grant. And so far, I'm really liking Grant. And then the girl who's the record producer. The other girl I'm not liking as much. She just rubs me the wrong way a little bit. But anyways, this isn't a review about this show. So now I watched those 2 yesterday, and the season or episode 3 got pushed back because of the inauguration. So I went back and now I'm watching episodes from season 1. Okay, so I went back and I'm watching this episode from season 1, and I like it just as much, even though it's not Grant Cardone, and it's just some new guy. I'm enjoying it. And it reminded me of the idea of really behind starting the original, like the Nate Ideas podcast, and then really the show was to document, use Gary Vee's thing, document over create, right? And I've kind of gotten, I do this all the time. I get back in the habit of creating. I like creating, I'm a creator. So I've been creating again. And I want to make sure, and I even put it on the schedule to like once a week do check-in videos, but I really want this to be, especially because I'm right in the middle of trying to launch a virtual summit that I haven't even talked to you guys about. And I want to shift some of that back to the creation of that rather than just all the business stuff. And I talk about how I'm relaunching Business Heroes and whatnot. I'm in the very beginning of that. I'm actually thinking of changing the name, and because of the whole target market of the creative entrepreneurs. So I'm like, maybe I should call it, maybe I should have a podcast called the Creative Entrepreneurs Podcast. And then with Business Heroes, I don't know. But again, this is why I'm documenting all this stuff. Normally you wouldn't do this, right? You'd pretend like you have it all together, da-da-da. But again, I'm about documenting the journey. And then of course with the podcast, whether it be creative entrepreneurs or whatever it ends up being, it's about documenting how they got started too, so you can learn from that. So I'm watching this show and I was like, I need to do an update. I meant to do it last Friday and the last Monday, then Friday, and I was like, I just need to do an update. So I want to talk to you really quick. I mentioned this virtual summit. So when I decided to relaunch Business Heroes, I was like, look, I have no list. I don't really have like social media accounts built up for it. I've got social media accounts for other things, but they're not going to necessarily cross over. So I was like, I need to do something quick to like build up this business basically out of nothing. All right, my heater kicked on again. I forgot to turn it off before I came down here. And I just spent like the last 5 minutes waiting for it to go off. So I don't remember what I was saying. So I'm going to just jump into what I think I was saying is the virtual summit. So we're going to talk about that. So, started business, blah, blah, blah. I needed to do something and get a list, build a list. So yeah, I remember where I was now. So yeah, I decided, I was reading this book from Russell Brunson he put together, and it was like the 30-day challenge, and it was all these people, and it was basically like if you had to start over and you didn't have your name, it's actually kind of funny because it's like Undercover Billionaire. Like what would you do? In 30 days, they didn't have 3 months like an Undercover Billionaire, but they also did have a place to, they didn't have to do survival. They had basically all their bills paid for 30 days, and they had ClickFunnels for 30 days, and they had to like do that. And so I was listening through these. I just stuttered. I think I said listening 3 times. So I was really listening, and it got to the point where I came up with this idea of virtual summits. Now, I was naive and didn't realize how much work they take, and the uncontrollable variable of other people. And since I've talked to people, and they're like, "Oh yeah, virtual summits, those are a lot of work," and I'm like, I'm still doing it. Like, so doing a virtual summit, and I went and I hit up all my homeboys and girls in the Entrepreneurs Roundtable first. So it's called the Entrepreneurs Roundtable Virtual Summit. And since then I've expanded and invited some other people, mostly from hanging out in clubhouses and seeing them, and plug them in. And I'm doing that, like I said, as rapid list building, as well as there's an upsell, so to make a little bit of money, to get some startup costs, and to be able to afford some ads and stuff. And my buddy Gideon Walker, it's really Gideon, Nick, and I we're going out together. But last time I was talking with Gideon about it, we basically were like, you know what, if we do this 4 times this year, like, it has to work. Because it's like, even if we do it the first time and it totally flops, and we do it the second time, it's a little bit better. You know, the third time it's pretty good, and then by the 4th time, so we're just once a quarter, we're just going to do it. And then I've been thinking, I'm like, what do I want Business Heroes to be as far as like the actual product I'm doing and offering? And I was like, well, what if this is kind of fun, even though it's kind of stressful, like not stressful, but like a lot of work, and I can't even control the work. It's like, what if I just do these virtual summits all the time, and then even do in-person events? And what if which is funny, because if you knew me as a youth pastor, I hate events, I hate planning, but for some reason it seems different because it's like an online thing, and I don't have to deal with parents and getting permission slips and stuff filled out. I think that's really the main thing, is I don't have to deal with parents. Like, not like parents are bad, but like I never get the stuff to the parents in time. Which I'm kind of still doing with this first virtual summit. So maybe it's not as easy as I thought. But anyways, I'm growing, I'm getting better, and like we said, like by the end of the year, I basically committed to doing 4 this year, and if at the end of the year I hate them, I can be like, or they're just not successful, I can be like, no, I'm not doing those anymore. But assuming that that's not the case, then yeah, it's basically just do these 4, and if the work goes well, maybe I do an online events business, and that goes well with the podcast, because I can be having guests in all the time, and building that, and the ones that I think are the topics and they really resonate with the audience and bring value, then I can line them up for the next virtual summit. I can roll over the best ones from before, to the next one. So yeah, that's kind of where I am with that. And so I wanted to launch the registration page January 17th. That did not happen. It's currently, I think, the 25th. Yeah, it's the 25th, but I set a hard goal of doing it by the end of the week, and I'm basically going to launch it even if it's not done, even if all the emails aren't set up to go out. I did give the emails to my buddy Gideon to write, since he is a far better copywriter than me. He already sent 2 of them back. I think he only has 1 more to go, maybe 3 more to go. We'll see. And I already have it all built out in ActiveCampaign, so all I have to do is go in there and actually set them up. And so yeah, it's coming along. It's really close, and so yeah, the goal is by this weekend. Basically, if I don't have it done by Friday and Saturday turn into no sleep, just cranking this thing out, finishing it, and getting it out there. So yeah, I'll let you know when it's ready to go. If you want to go register, it's free for the main event, and yeah. I think that's it for the update. I'll let you know how that goes. My biggest thing right now is I need to get the videos for the sessions in from the speakers, and then also start connecting with them about promoting. So a whole big part of doing a virtual summit is less about making a ton of money and more about building a list fast. And so that won't work if they're not promoting it to their lists and sending it out and whatnot. So I need to go and contact them and see, okay, can you come on my podcast? Can I go on your podcast? Guest blogging, sending out things, your email list, that whole thing to get registration. My goal originally was to get like 30 speakers and 10,000 registrations, but I had no clue what's even feasible because I'd never done this before. With some research, I'm starting to think that like the 10,000 is probably overkill, especially since I didn't hit the 30. I would be fine with 500. If I got 500 people to sign up on the list, I'll consider it a success. But I did make some promises to some people, so I don't think everyone would be happy. So I do have to try to get as high as possible. And it really comes down to how many final speakers I can get, because I had a bunch who like initially said yes and then they've kind of dropped off, so I have to follow up with them and see how many more I can get in, because there was 11 of us from the round table, plus I've got like several that are like basically for sure from outside of the round table, and then like another 10 that are maybes. So I could be like just under 15 or over 20 depending on this next week and who I can finalize. But I've learned a lot, and the second one will definitely be different, and moving into it I already know it'll be better and different and easier because I've gone through it once already at that point. And yeah, with that guys, I'm gonna log off, and tomorrow I'm actually going to, I've been teasing this out forever, but I did today finally finish that biography of a yogi book, and so tomorrow we can talk about it and why I was listening to that and what insights I got out of it, and my overall impression of it. So see you guys tomorrow.